Cool. Okay, so Dark Bleatings, everybody. It's been a little while since I had a guest, so I thought, why not have two? We have Matt and Stephen, who are part of the indie horror chapter, and if you haven't heard of that, you're about to. So welcome both. Thanks for being here.
No pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for
Okay, so just before we get into the indie horror chapter, do you both want to tell everyone a little bit about yourselves separately? Stephen, you go first.
Right. Okay. This is the bit I'm rubbish at, really. Yeah, indie horror author. Been going at it for about 6 or 7 years, something like that. Generally write horror suspense, nothing too extreme. Novels, short stories. Yeah, collabs with people if I can. Anthologies. Just basically writing what I want to write, really, and enjoying it and enjoying connecting with readers. So yeah, having a whale of a time with it.
Good. And Matt?
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, Matt Rayner, right under the pen name ML Rayner. I've been writing since probably around 2014. Never really took it seriously until around 2020, around COVID time. That's when I published my first book. So I've been constantly at it for probably the last 5 years. Done several novels, some short stories for different anthologies that are out there, UK and US. Again, very much mimicking Stephen in the sense that enjoy reaching out to readers, enjoy communicating with readers, and not only readers but also the author community as well.
Yeah, it's so speaking of author communities, for people who are totally uninitiated, what is the indie horror chapter?
Do you want me
Do you
to
want that, Matt?
take this,
Or
Stephen? Yeah, I can do. Okay, so in terms of indie horror chapter, it's very much a UK based event that brings in a lot of talented authors from all over the UK and Ireland as well. Completely non-profit event. So when it comes to purchasing tickets, there's none of that. If you can turn up on the day, by all means, you're welcome to do so. Yeah, and just spend a day with authors and sharing that interest of books and reading and writing for those that do have an interest in doing it in the future. Um, but not only that as well, we support some really good charities, local charities as well to the surrounding area. So it's really nice not to just do a book event, but bring that awareness and support as well to raise that little bit of money. It's a fairly small in terms of a committee. There's only several members as well as a handful of admins, none of which get paid. They all do it out of the goodness of their own heart to kind of share that word of the community and also authors' work as well. Any kind of money that does come into the event, in terms of off the back of merchandising, stuff like t-shirts, bags, posters, it all goes into a pot to go towards the next event to try and fund it. So it's very much a community effort, and it's based very much on support. And without that, Indie Horror Chapter wouldn't be around at all.
Yeah, it's
Even you tell me if I'm missing anything here, mate, because I'm winging
no,
it.
no. I was engrossed then, Matt. I
And
was.
and I don't want Trish giving me the elbow. You should have mentioned this.
No, I mean, I think Matt's covered it all there. I think the key thing is that does set it apart from maybe other book cons is the fact that it's free. It's completely reader centric rather than writer centric. It's about what can we give back to the horror reading community, as well as ourselves coming together as writers and enjoying that time that we get to spend with each other as well. So it's win-win all round, really. And it's been great fun so far.
Yeah, that is something that I would say is unique about the events is that they're reader centric because we do have a lot of, I say a lot, some bookish events in the UK that you can attend, things like FantasyCon, Edgelit. But I love those, by the way. I always attend them, but they're very author centric, as in like you'll meet up with you know, all of your author friends and everything. And people do buy books, but it's it's authors buying each other's books kind of thing. You don't get many people there that aren't creatives themselves, like or podcast hosts. There's people who tend to create stuff that go to those. Um, so the USA has a lot of reader-centric bookish events, and I'm always talking about how we need more of them here because it's really nice to mingle with people who are actually reading your work or people getting to go and have their books signed and meet their favorite authors. And I always find that indie spaces are very nice, welcoming places as well, indie writer spaces. There's an event coming up, I understand, in Weston Super-Mare, which is quite close to me. I think I'll actually be able to come down for that one. I'm very excited. Or up. My geography is terrible. I'm in Wales. Down, up. I don't know.
No,
Down, yeah, it's not too far. Too bad.
Stephen, do you want to tell us a little bit about the upcoming event?
yeah, so it's September 6th at the Royal Hotel in Weston Super-Mare. I think we've got something like 40 authors. So when we first did it just over a year ago in Birmingham, I think we had 26, 27, something like that. So it's growing all the time. So we've got 40 authors, as Matt said, from up and down the UK, from Ireland, and from Europe as well. We have a couple of authors that travel from mainland Europe. And yeah, it'll just be a great day, kind of like sort of 11 till 4:30. Not just going there to buy books or have books signed, but there's also discussions and panels and things like that. Again, just trying to give the readers as much as we can of us. So there'll be Q&As. In the past, we've had readings. I'm not sure we've got one this time. Maybe the facility doesn't suit it well enough, but certainly lots of opportunity to fire questions at writers and just have that open dialogue, really. And I think that's key. It's the whole atmosphere isn't about like two sides in the sense of like readers and writers. It's all about community all day long. And so yeah, really looking forward to getting to Weston. A lot of people, writers and readers alike, always make it sort of like a full weekend of it. So and there's social time built around it as well. Trish is also very keen that in these events, people are made to feel really welcome if they're perhaps, if they struggle in those kind of crowded spaces. There's opportunities to have little breakout space and quiet space. Readers, if they're nervous about coming, that they can have someone they can touch base with straight away, so they don't have to feel like they're on their own. So there's so much that goes into making it a really friendly, warm, welcoming atmosphere for potential readers who want to come along and have a great day.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't attended something like this and you're a reader, and you're nervous about meeting people, I will say that these events, I would say they're very welcoming spaces. They're not like if you go to, say, a horror con or a comic con, and then the people that you want to meet are basically behind a paywall. You have to pay however much to queue up at their table, get something signed, and you get their attention for like 30 seconds. And I myself am I've spent a lot of money at those kinds of things until I discovered bookish events, and I was like, oh, everyone's just mingling. You can just go up to
Mm.
anybody and everyone will talk to you. Yes, I find that writers tend to not have much bravado. It's not like meeting an actor, for example, is what I'm saying. So, yes, as an avid reader and a writer, I personally really enjoy these spaces because I'm quite shy around the authors that I like when I first meet them. I always tend to make an idiot of myself, but everyone is very nice about it. Um, yeah, I
And
saw.
I think that's the other side of it as well. So a lot of writers are quite introverted as well, and they find it tricky. So it also helps us, in how we come across and how we best connect with people, because of that atmosphere. Because it is very much a sort of safe and welcoming space for everybody involved.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, they just love. I think of them as like lovely, wholesome events to go to, and everyone is just very nice to each other. It's just a very nice, as the kids say these days, it's a very nice vibe. Don't know if I
Mm.
said that correctly, but that's right. So you did mention got about 40 authors coming to this one to participate. What kind of so I know you mentioned panels and readings and whatnot. What are your favorite parts of these events personally?
You want to
Um,
start that one, Matt?
yeah, sure. I mean, for me personally, um, talking about indie horror chapter, I think a big one for me is the genre. I think when I first started off writing, and Stephen, you've probably gone through exactly the same as well. When it comes to horror, it's very limited in terms of the UK, especially for indie authors out there. You have your main horror cons, but that it's a
Mm,
little bit different because if you go as an author, a lot of those people are interested in movies, etc. Whereas with indie horror chapter, you're kind of surrounded by your own kind of people in a sense. I've done many conventions or author signings in the past where it's been multi-genre.
mhm,
And that's always been a little bit tricky because you're a horror author or ghost story author or whatever you want to call yourself, and you're kind of sitting in between a fantasy table and maybe a romance table. And it's kind of very difficult to kind of gauge that readership at those events. Don't get me wrong, the people are lovely, and the authors that you sit next to and you talk to, you can get on really well with them. But in trying to get your voice out there and find that reader, that's quite difficult at one of those events. Whereas I think with Indie Horror Chapter, we're such a tight community now, and it's constantly building all the time. Like Stephen said, Birmingham last year or the year before, it went from like 20 authors and now it's 40,
mhm,
and that family is just kind of it just keeps growing. And not only that, the readership, those people that you talk about, that you talk to online, that interact with you on your author profile or in groups, etc. You're starting to see more faces turn up because originally a lot of people in the UK don't like to travel to places. It's not like
mhm,
the US. A lot of people in the US will fly to events. If you've got somebody in Birmingham and you say, "Oh well, the event is it's I don't know down London way," a lot of them are quite wary about traveling. But I think as time's gone on and the events got bigger, that more and more people seem to be interested, and it's just building that community all the more, which is making the event better and better each time.
yeah, the traveling thing is so funny by comparison because I know authors in the US that travel to these conventions and like, oh yeah, I'll drive for 8 hours and then hop on a plane. And to me, I'm like, 8 hours? That's like the whole day.
I went to Chicago last year for one in the US, and because don't get me wrong, I know that the US is massive, but um, when people are turning up and I'm saying, "Oh, is it taking you long to get here?" and they're saying, "Oh, well, I'm from Texas." I'm just thinking, "Oh, it's a couple hours drive," and it isn't. It's like 5 hours or what have you. So they're a lot more. I don't want to say committed to, but that they have no issue with traveling. It's all part of it for them, and I do like that. And it'd be great to see that in the UK as well, not just necessarily people from Ireland or Europe, but from the US guys to come over as well, because I do think it will get there at one point.
Yeah, I think they're just
And
more used to.
can I just
Come
jump in
on.
on that little
Yeah.
bit? Just to add to what Matt said there about indie horror chapter. One of the key things about it is switching venue each time rather than staying in one place, so that if readers are nervous about traveling, eventually we will be in your neighborhood. We will get to you. Two events a year. I think that's the plan, and we will get to somewhere you can reach. Before too long, and I think that's quite a unique thing as well. I think a lot of these events tend to stay regional to a certain area, maybe even a certain venue, but we're trying to do some place different every time,
Mhm.
which I think is really important. And again, it's about the fact that we're serving readers, not just serving the convenience of the writers.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
I should have said that. You're going to get a gold star off Trish for saying that now, you are, mate. Well done, you.
Um, what's your favorite part of the event, Stephen?
I mean, a little bit what Matt said there about meeting readers. I mean, we've started roughly the same time, me and Matt, and I'm still getting over the fact, a few years in, that there are people out there that will read my books time after time after time, and I can't get my head around that. Even my wife's given up on reading my books. I've done too many, but I've got there are people that will you know voraciously pick up whatever you put out, and that blows my mind. So meeting those guys and getting to know them. And becoming friends and being familiar faces, either online and then you see them at the events. That's really good and really really humbling. To have someone just say that they love your work, and you just think, wow, like you're not even related to me. That's amazing. So that's really nice. And then the other side of it is then meeting people like Matt, meeting other authors who, again, you might have had a little online chat with, but getting to know these guys a little bit more, and sharing ideas, talking about future projects, just that buzz really, that goes on constantly, in the run up to the events, during the day, and then in the kind of like debrief afterwards as we're all kind of processing how it went. Yeah, it's all it's all really good fun.
What do you think
By
it is?
debrief,
Oh,
he
sorry,
means
go
we all
on.
get hammered.
Yes.
I'm, I'm I'm trying to play it smart here, Matt. Come on.
Just being very diplomatic about how you talk about
Yeah.
yeah. Um, what do you think it is about groups of horror fans that make for such friendly, nice atmospheres? Because I'm always talking about that, how people who aren't in horror circles just think that we're all, I don't know, in some way demented or evil or something, but then you turn up and everyone's just really happy and
Yeah, and I think that's sort of comes with the genre really, and you often find that, don't you, that the fans of something are the almost the reverse of of what the material is presenting. So, and same with writers. It's if that's your little escape, or that's how you vent, or whatever it might be, through reading or writing a particular genre, it usually means you are the opposite of that, not that you are
Mhm.
representative of that. And I think that's very much the case in the horror community. Everyone is really nice, really inclusive. You can be from any walk of life, any background, and you're part of it. You can write any type of horror, and there's no judgment or sense of kind of hierarchy or snobbery about any of it. Um, you can be sort of uber well produced in the product you put out, or it can look quite homemade. And again, it's welcomed, and just everyone's really into it. So I know I think it is something that fits in with horror, because we are the flip side of what's being produced, or what people read, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I've never thought about it like that before. That's probably what it is. Yeah, there is like a bit of a reverse kind of thing going on there. Are you guys able to tell us any of the authors that are involved in this next event, or is it secret?
No, I'm pretty sure everybody's been announced by now.
Okay.
So it's just
So I
whether we can remember, Matt. You do a few, then I'll do a few.
okay. So off the top of my head,
I'm
we've
I'm
got
saying that I've got a computer in front of me. I'm gonna have a quick look, but you go.
yeah, I've got the PC in front of me, but I'm just going to wing it. So we've got Stephen Barnard. That's one. There we go. We've got Lee Kenny. We have MJ Mars. We have Matt Shaw, Elizabeth J. Brown. We have Justin Boot, uh, RJ Daly. We have. Go on, Stephen. Take over a little bit.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
trying
think
to
of some
I'm trying to
more.
find a list. See, that's the only issue when it gets so big. Um, Matt. oh, I'm not sure whether Matthew Cash is now. I might have done him a disservice there. Um, uh, Jim is going to be there, isn't he? I think Jim and Kat. So Jim Odie and Kat Moat. I'm struggling now. Oh,
Okay, so I
CS
did put you on the spot.
Jones.
Oh,
Yeah,
Stephen,
CS
yeah.
Jones.
Yeah.
Um, um, Brad Thomas doing his first one with his excellently sort of well received novella that he's put out this year. So yeah, there's plenty of good authors, and you just can't find the poster when you're looking for it.
I
Oh,
think
sorry, I did put you on the spot. Sorry, guys.
Phillips coming back as well to this one. I think Baker's coming back. Phil,
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
I'm looking at old posters here on the wall and trying to figure out who's into this one.
uh, Jasper Bark,
Oh,
Jasper, yeah.
he's there. Yeah.
I was going to bring him
Um,
up actually because I know that he was at a previous event and I've spoken with Jasper and my favorite thing about him is that if he's involved in something you never know if it's going to be fairly normal or if he's just going to do something crazy if he does a reading or something. So it's worth going to these events. If you see Jasper's name on anything, for that alone, with everything else besides it, it's worth going.
yeah, you can't miss him. He certainly stands out. But again, such a nice, warm guy,
Yeah,
and
he's wonderful.
really good fun to chat to. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person and he's wonderfully eccentric is how I like to describe Jasper and he's very warm and kind and lovely, but then he'll just surprise you with things. So, yeah, his readings have turned into a stuff of legend, but like people will be like, "Oh, you should have been at this reading," but then they won't tell you why. So it's always worth going. Um,
I found a few more. Graham Reynolds,
oh yeah.
Peter Caffrey,
Mhm.
Jonathan Butcher, Lula Van Gogh, sorry. Yeah, loads of people. Adrian Baker.
God, yeah, there's so many. I've read so many of these authors, and the ones I haven't are all like on my list, or I've got books sitting there. But so you've got a really great mix of, as you were talking about earlier, with like the different types of horror that's represented
Yeah.
here, because, um, gosh, you've got everything from people who write spooky gothic type of stuff to extreme horror, going, Jonathan Butcher and Matt Shaw very well known for that. So it's a really big range of the genre that you've covered there.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, really. Is if you are a fan of reading horror, there is definitely half a dozen authors that you will absolutely lap up at the event, and then you'll hopefully discover others because they're kind of close to your genre, or you might branch out and try something else. Um, but yeah, absolutely, there's everything in there.
Yeah, so these places and events are so good for finding authors that are new to you, or even if it's an author's first convention, they've got one book out. I've found some of my favorite authors that way, where I've just met them at one of these events, and the next thing you know, you've spent all of your money ordering ordering all of their books.
Usually the way, and that's exactly the way for us as well, because we'll either, obviously we talk to each other online quite a lot, so we see all the new releases that come out. So when we've got like books spare at the end of the day, or just books that we want, we either tend to swap, or
Mhm.
we lose just as much money as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'm forever buying books, swapping books, asking people to send me free review copies of their books, as you two well know. Uh, that's how I collect all of my stuff. Um, okay, so how long have you both been involved with the indie horror chapter?
Involved in terms of attending authors, it would have been from the beginning.
Oh, just yeah,
Um,
just whenever you sort of like discovered it or
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of very aware. Me and Stephen have both attended different events in the past, and we've
Mhm.
always met up and spoke. And the person Trish, obviously, that kind of founded this and started putting it all together, she used to attend those events as well. So we already knew each other quite well anyway. In terms of when the event started, that was Birmingham, so it was only last April, I think it was. So we've been very much involved from the start,
Mhm.
both of us.
That's cool. How do you think have the events changed over time at all? I know that they're getting bigger.
Um, well,
I think in terms of changing, it's just going to be the venues. I think. Sorry, Stephen, I spoke over you then, mate.
no, I was just going to
Um,
say, yeah.
if you want to
So
go ahead, go for it.
I was going to say, sort of organically, I think it's going to change as yes, the venues, but as we find things that perhaps readers want more of.
Mm.
I think Trish is very good at sort of canvassing that when she's out and about, on the day, but then online, in and around it, and finding out what works. And then approaching writers and saying, "Do you fancy doing this? Do you fancy doing that?" To try and make it bespoke, really. And I guess each venue will bring with it its own challenges, but also its own benefits. So we'll interested in this one. We're in a hotel, so I imagine a lot of the readers may have got rooms in the hotel, so it feels like perhaps even a bigger event yet again,
Mhm.
compared to previous ones.
Yeah, oh, quick shout out to Trish while we're here as well, because what a hard worker for just championing other people's work, especially indie horror in particular. And you just always see her if you're friends with her anywhere online, you will just see her constantly posting about books and events and cool things that are going on. So yeah, thanks to Trish if you're I'm sure she is watching this. For yeah,
She'll be watching.
all of the great work you do and all the awareness that you bring to the genre and people in it. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly say that before I forget and then sign off and go, oh no, forgot to mention Trish. Um, do you guys have any thoughts about like ultimately where you'd like to see the event? So have you got any sort of in an ideal world, the event will like look like this eventually or anything like that?
I mean, obviously we've said that it does move around.
Mhm.
So I mean, I know it's not been decided where's next, but I imagine it'll probably be north of Bolton. Bolton, that's right, north of Birmingham. So it's good that it moves around. So I mean, as long as that carries on,
Mhm.
it goes all over, and of course you can then pick up different authors. Some might not travel to certain venues, but others will. So
Mhm.
it'll always evolve in that. So from a writer point of view, you get to sort of see different people, on that score. Um, and yeah, you never know. It might branch out. It might go overseas. Who's to say? Because we're looking at what Weston's the third event. It's still in its infancy, really, but is absolutely thriving. So it could really take off.
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen a lot of really good feedback about the I just want to make sure I get the name is that oh yeah, the Canterbury Horror Tales event.
Mm.
I saw so many people posting about that and everyone's like, we really want another one. Do another one of those. So yeah, people seem to really enjoy these events when they participate. Um because we are talking indie horror, I do not want to round off this video without talking a little bit about the specific horror that you two write. So that and I'll put links in the description so people know where to find you as well as the indie horror chapter and everything. Stephen, would you like to, for anyone who might not have read you, is there a good starting place?
Um, my last novel is a book called Ringrock. So I'm kind of championing that one at the minute, which is, if you like, the idea of four guys having a sort of a car crash down a cliff into a lake, and then finding themselves in a kind of a bit of a village that time forgot, and then it's how they deal with that and get out of that situation, and nothing's as it seemed and seems um, in this world that shouldn't really exist in the middle of the Yorkshire moors. So it's that idea of just taking what starts off as an ordinary situation, ordinary characters, and in this case, literally dropping them into their worst nightmare. And I guess that's generally how I go about all my writing. Really, what happens to this guy or this girl if this happens to them, and then escalating it from there. So yeah, Ringrock was my most recent novel that has come out, and also my most recent story collection was a book called Losers Get Haunted, which has got a bit of everything in there, a few different types of subgenres in there. But yeah, that's me.
Good, cool, yeah. Matt. Oh, I
We
think
lost him.
he's just frozen there. Oh, we can hear you,
You
Matt.
love it.
So if you want to point readers towards one of your works or two of your works, whatever you'd like to do.
Yeah, as long as you can hear me, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so I'm very much a classical ghost story writer. So it's kind of what you see is what you get. I focus very much on historical elements and mainly topics of isolation, the kind of fear of being alone sort of thing. I've released three books, all of which are very much along the same theme. So first off was Echoes of Home, which did really well UK US. Most recent, but very much a prequel, so it doesn't matter which order you read them in. And also Amongst the Mists as well, which is currently in the Books of Horror Indie Brawl. No idea if you're aware of that group on Facebook, but yeah, so that's been picked up quite nicely at the moment and given good feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see everybody now that I've pitched on.
Just oh, his picture disappeared. Uh-oh. Um, technology demons. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, he's back. Oh, it is he. I think the Zoom
He's
call is
obviously
haunted.
he's playing to his genre, and he's being like a ghost. That's what it is. He's in and out.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that the Zoom call is haunted, and I'm pretty sure it's Matt's fault somehow. I don't know how. Um, okay, well, I think that's probably a good place to call it, considering the tech demons are interfering with us now. But thank you both so much for coming on to talk about this event. I do think it's one of the it's such a great organization with such great events, but they're lesser heard of than like the huge ones. And so, yeah, I'm hoping to get more people on board or more people just aware of them because they're such fun places and fun things to attend. So that did you say 6th of September?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, in
Uh,
Weston Super-Mare.
yeah. Royal Hotel.
And I'll put the links for everything in the description so people can find everything really easy. And obviously I'll put links for both of you and your works in the description. And I encourage everybody to check out your work. I will be having both of you back individually at some point in the near future. I'm hoping if you're still willing. But I have been doing a little reading, everybody. Just doing a little quiet reading here of maybe some of Matt and Stephen's work to talk to everybody about. Um, yeah, so thanks once again for both being here, for giving us all of this great information. And I'm hoping to personally see you guys in Weston. I should be able to get to that one, so I'm looking forward to it. So thank you very much. And we're just going to go with our little goatee sign off of bleed. So bleed. As
Is
I
that
go,
what we do? Do we bleed?
yeah, bleed.
Bleed. Thank you very much, Kaylee. Thanks for supporting us.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Cheers for having us.